Yes, I think we have a lot of things to discuss today, so let's dive right into it. Good morning, everyone. As always, on behalf of the AETC team, Arctic Europe Tourism Cluster team, it's very good to have you all here today on, at least here, a sunny Friday morning. So today we are joined by Andy Fairborn and Paul Wagner from Nordic Tourism Collective as our moderators, and we have an excellent lineup of panelists. Just a quick reminder for housekeeping, the webinar is being recorded, as you can all see, and then the material is going to be shortly added on Basecamp, so you can rewatch it or share it with your teams. Also, you have a feature here where you can ask questions. So if you have any, please don't be shy. Just feel free to drop them in there, and then we will do our best to try and reply to them. So yes, with further ado, I leave it to Paul to start with the French market for today.
Super. Thank you very much, Alexia. Good morning. My name is Paul Wagner, and with my colleague Andy Fairburn, we're delighted to bring you the first webinar this morning out of 3. This is on the French market. You might see a few extra panelists arriving that will be joining us later, but the ones that you can see the lovely pictures of, those are the ones that we'll be discussing the French market with. And we've got a great panel here today. We've got our Nordic expert, Carola Martin. Good morning, Carola.
Good morning.
And we have Sergis Baldacchino. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Nice to meet you. And Sergic is from 66 degrees north. And then we have Jan Oriel. Good morning, Jan.
Good morning, everyone.
And Jan is joining us from Scanditour. And we have Audrey, I think, already with us from Quartier Libre. Good morning, Audrey, if you're there already. Otherwise, you'll be joining us shortly. Okay, probably joining us shortly. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Carola, who's going to give us a very short presentation for 5 minutes on the French market and the very important market that it's becoming for the Arctic region. And we're going to share our screen for Carola now, and we'll update you a little bit on what's happening on the French market. Over to you, Carola. Just sharing it.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Carola, and I come from Finland originally, but I've been working for 30 years in France and 25 years in tourism, in incoming and in outgoing, selling Scandinavian countries, let's say Nordic countries. And now I'm working as a freelancer and very much also with Nordic Tourism Collective. So I will give you a short brief about the main points in the French market and what we are thinking about doing business with the Arctic regions in Scandinavia, what is important for us. So I think that the main attractions, if you think about the Arctic region, excuse me, Paul, we don't see the slides because we don't have the same appreciation about Finland, Sweden, and Norway when we think about Lapland. I think in France, when we think about Norway, it's not more the fjords, it's more the summer destination. We think about mountains, hiking, fjords when we think about Norway. And from Lapland, then we think about Lofoten area very much, and even Troms for hiking. And in Sweden, in Lapland, it's also like more a summer destination, even if it's growing for the winter. But Finland is definitely a winter destination. And when we think about Lapland in the winter, the French think about Finland. And 90% of French people traveling to Finland are going to Lapland. It's only a very small percent that go to the south of Finland or combine the south of Finland with Lapland. So summer is for the research of cooler temperatures and outdoor activities, nature experience. Winter is for the northern lights, for snow and winter activities. And Yes, the operators are mainly 70% online channels, so it's very important to be online with your products. Sorry, and then we have the 20% traditional agencies. There are very many agencies, about 4,000 agencies, and these are the main how do you say the main people you have to work to target with your marketing efforts, because these are the experts that are knowing and that are selling you, and that are also showing the way. They are making a tailor-made products so that they know about the market. Yes, next slide, please. So what they have found the last years is that the French people are starting to travel more and more in spring. And then in August. August is still the main holiday month. So August is very important to stay open. If you want to have French tourists in Lapland, you have to stay open in August. This is where the holidays where we put the most of the money, and we are traveling the furthest away. And what they are looking for is, well, really travel nature experiences, like very authentic experiences. Pick up berries, mushrooms, kayaking, fishing, hiking. So nothing very special, but authentic experiences, and personal service is important. And then there is the potential, to extend the seasons to September and October with the Nordic lights. So, well, this is a very good thing. They are looking for the Nordic lights. Yes, so solutions to attract French customers: stay open in August, and then work also for the transport and connections. Well, this is not what you can do alone, but this is what the regions can do, and to be pushed. So because we found in the latest statistics that 36% of the French travelers now, they want not to hire cars, but they want to take public transports. Then to combine the cities with countryside, with nature experience, is very important, and to be visible, and to have communications and direct marketing efforts. The French people want to discuss and have direct contacts. Yes, so the practical ways to approach, there are direct marketing contacts, marketing efforts for professionals, like workshops, roadshows, fan trips. I've been having a workshop 2 days ago, and then we see that there is so much need to have these direct contacts and to have more information about the market, and practical information also. For the client who is buying these services, traditional medias and social medias are important in France. Please, next slide. So when we look at the potentials in France, we see that the Christmas is important and is still growing. People are looking for the cold for Christmas, to have this image of a real Christmas with snow. And this is very much also due to the climate change. And then we have major markets now in Lapland, Finnish Lapland, maybe also in Tromsø, but very many people have already been to the Finnish Lapland, so they are looking for alternatives. And this is why I see that the Swedish Lapland also is growing. It will be growing. It depends on what is supplied there. What are the hotels? What are the transport connections, and so on. The French market has a big budget. We are good customers, but we don't we are not looking for champagne. I mean, they found out in the Finnish Lapland that all the other people were now more mature for luxury, but the French want more authenticity. They want more natural, personal experience and living villages and authentic markets. Yes. So thank you very much for your attention.
Super. Thanks very much, Carola. Some great information there. We'll now be discussing with our panel. Good morning, Julia. I just wonder if you could just turn your video in your video on.
I don't have camera.
Okay,
I don't have video. I'm sorry about that.
That's fine, Julia. No problem. We can hear you. You can hear us loud and clear. So Julia is joining us, and we'll be answering some of the questions as well, even if you can't see her. That's no problem. Okay, I'm going to fire over now to our panelists. Thanks again, Carola, and start with the first question. And really just to get a picture from you all, maybe you can start with you, Sozic. And maybe introduce yourself as well. What is selling particularly well at the moment for you in the region? And could you give us some information on that? Thank you.
Yes, so hi, thank you for having me. So I'm Swazik, I'm the brand manager at 66 Degree North. To tell a bit more about our travel agency. We are a travel agency specialized in all of the northern countries, and we are also specialized in adventure tourism. So a lot of outdoor, a lot of activities like trekking, kayaking, hiking, skiing, all of that sort of stuff. We do groups as well as FITs, and we've been working in the northern countries for more than 25 years. What really works at the moment for us would be the multi-activities product in winter, so in Finnish Lapland mostly. And then in Norway, we will have all of the products that we have with the Auroras. And in summer, it's mostly hiking in the Lofoten. That would be our 3 best-selling products.
Super, thank you very much. Lovely. Same question for you, Jan. Welcome, and let us know what's attractive for you at the moment.
So I'm the product manager for Scanditour. It's a branch of Kioni, a French tour operator. So we mostly focused on Finland for winter, Lapland, Finland, not Sweden yet. But I would say that for our product, for summer it would be near the Lofoten, some escorted tours around this area, and also in the south of Norway we have some escorted tour as well in the south of Sweden, but maybe in the future in the north as well, in Lapland.
Thanks, Jan. It seems that there is a variety of operators focusing on different regions, which is always healthy when you focus on your particular preferred area of the north. Julia, can I ask the same question for you? What's selling particularly well and what's interesting for your organization? Maybe you can just introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, hi, I'm Julia. I'm from Quartier Libre, and I'm in charge of both stays in Swedish Lapland. So I'm on site during winters, and I'm working to prepare all stays during the summer. That's all.
And Julia, what's selling particularly well for you in Swedish Lapland at the moment? Which type of products and destinations are selling well?
In Swedish Lapland, we have multi-activity stays, especially around special activities, so snowmobile, dog sledding. They can buy Northern Lights too, and it's two multi-activity stays.
Okay, super. So that gives an impression of that. That's super. And thank you very much. And Audrey, I think you're there as well. If you're not, don't worry. But
yes, I'm here. Sorry, I had some trouble with technology.
we all do that. Anything to add on your side, Audrey?
So I'm working with Julia. So I'm from Quartier Libre as well. I'm working on the production since a few years now. So Julia is dealing with Swedish Lapland especially. And we also have escorted tours in the winter time and in the summertime. in the north mainly. So we're trying also to develop this area, but we work mainly on the Swedish Lapland for now.
Okay, super. But you're looking maybe to develop in Finland and Norway.
Yes.
Yeah, super. Super. Jordi, good morning. Just this is the French one, so if you could just bear with us for a little bit, Jordi. Don't worry, don't worry.
Okay. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I didn't.
Don't worry.
I was not pretty sure about the schedule. So what time, more or less?
If you could come back at 10 to 10, that would be fantastic.
Okay. Thank you very much. Then
Super.
have a good time so far. Thank you.
Okay, great. Can I just ask our panelists about the air access? Are you happy with the potential air access up to the north at the moment? Swezig, maybe something you could let us know your thoughts generally to the.
Yeah, it's still limited. It's getting better each year because in the winter we have now some direct flight to Tromsø, but it's still limited. Like we operate our trips in Finland in the National Park of Osa, and the airport nearby have no direct flights or sometimes no flights at all. Swedish Lapland, it's even more complicated because Kiruna is getting no flights in summer sometimes. So it definitely could be better, but yes, it works. But I think with more direct flight, more offer, and that would mean cheaper flights and also cheaper products. So it could be definitely something that could help to send more clients, especially in summer. It's something that we want to send more clients to Sweden and Finland in the summer, but the flights make it very difficult.
And I think that's very important that you brought that up, because this is one of the key points actually, is that if there is the potential from certain markets, you need that flight access, because I understand that when they have to change flights in one of the capital cities, if it's in Stockholm or Helsinki, it doesn't have the same draw as a direct flight. Is that a big difference for your clients in terms of needing that direct flight, or will they accept going via Helsinki or Stockholm?
One stopover is okay, but then depends also on the airport that they land in, because if you're still like 3 hours away from your final destination, that's also a thing, because in Finnish Lapland, if you land in Oulu and you want to go to Osa, that's still 3 hours transfer. So one stopover is okay. I think French people are used to it when they want to go to the north of Europe. But it also depends on the airport that are open or closed in the season.
Sure. And can I ask a question to you, Julia? Do you feel the need for these extra direct flights maybe out of the winter season, or do you feel your clients are still okay with flying via Stockholm as you're looking at Swedish Lapland?
French people are really used to have direct flight because we are the center of Europe. So to go almost everywhere, they can have a direct flight. It's really, I think it's important to have a direct flight to go in Lapland. For us, it's really a sales power to have one direct flight from Paris to Luleå.
Okay, that's very interesting, and this is what the very much this point of these webinars is, to bring to our audience up in the north the potential. And I think we can hear that France is maybe the market with one of the most interesting potential to develop outside of the winter season. So these points are really very important. Audrey, I wonder if you wanted to add anything on your side.
Yes, so as say Julia, direct flights are very, very important for clients. They are used to it, and it's the same for all of our destination. So it's true for the Lapland, but it's also true for Norway, Sweden, Finland, and all other destinations we have. We saw it because with all the dynamic package we have now for the main operators, the clients choose directly their flights when they booked, and they always want to have direct flights. So if we don't have it, we can lose some sales. But yes, it's the flights are developing in this area, which is a good thing, and we are trying to help for that in Swedish Lapland.
Super. I think the message is very clear. Thanks, Audrey. Jan, anything you want to add, maybe on the Norwegian side?
I wanted to add something for the Swedish side, actually, because as all the panel said, that direct flights are really important, and I know that Air France is doing code share now with SAS to bring more clients to this area, but at the same time, the direct flights in winter for Kiruna, for example, has stopped, and for us tour operators or travel agencies, it's kind of something that we regret, as we can't develop any product, as Audrey said, it's Julia, I don't remember, but it's really important for clients. It's a key factor for sales on our end.
Okay, that's very clear message. Thanks, Jan. Super. Now we want to just move the conversation a little bit about outside of high season, which it sounds like there's plenty of potential now on the French market. What do you feel? Maybe I can start with you again, Jan. What do you feel is the time outside of December, March, outside the peak season, when you think we can attract the most clients in the future, provided we have the flight access? And we're talking about destinations. We're talking about a different type of products that they'll be looking for, whether it's soft adventure, whether it's hiking, whether it's midnight sun, whether it's northern lights. Where do you think the kind of most potential would be to get the French market and your clients over to that part of the world outside of the winter season?
For Sweden, I'm not sure about it, but as Carola said in the beginning, the most travel season would be from July to August for French people, but we see in some other destinations that May is a strong month also for clients, but it will depend, because in our side we don't really offer soft adventures, so it might be something that Sophie could explain a little bit more for this particular part, but I think this kind of month could be something, as you said, linked to the flight, of course, but would be something that could arrive in the future for French markets.
Thank you. I think the French, obviously, when you have the warm summers as you do in France, and it's very easy to go to the Côte d'Azur in the south of France, etc. Obviously, the appeal of going to the north, where it's a little bit cooler, a little bit different experience, could be very interesting. So, Swezi, what do you feel is the potential on your side for your clients?
We've had more and more clients each year going to Lapland in the summer. It's still very cold, but we're getting more interest, so that's good. But it's still not as much as Norway for Sweden and Finland. We try to offer something with kayaking, bike, hiking, like we do in other countries. And it's still, I think, in the mind of French people, Lapland, it's to go in the winter to do dog sled and to see the auroras. We know that there are auroras in the off-season as well, but September is still not something that French people think about. And also it's completely linked to the subject of the flights. We have some really nice treks to offer, like the Kungsleden, that works really, really well in winter. We have a lot of groups that go and do it by ski, and in the summer, in the trekking area, I think we could get interest, but the flights are difficult, and also it's just not known to the French people that like the landscape, and it's just not something that they think about because they just don't know about it. Unlike the Lofoten, that is everywhere on social media at the moment.
Sure. And so do you think there needs to be improved promotion really of the Aurora during the August, September, October, when people don't really think of it because there's no snow, when maybe you get the best views of the dancing Aurora.
Yes, definitely. I think we need to see more image of auroras without the snow, auroras with the fall colors and with auroras with the midnight, not the midnight sun, but with the long days. That's still something that, I mean, it's the perfect mix, but it's just something we don't see. So we try to work a lot on that because we have our own hotels in Finland, so we need to fill them up. But it's summer, it's still very, very quiet.
Okay, thanks very much. One last question, Swazik, while I've got you there. Obviously, the prices probably during the September, October period would be a lot less than the traditional winter period. Is that a big attraction also for your clients, that if it would be much cheaper, they would go up there? Or do you think the price is a little bit less important in this area?
I don't think it matters that much because Lapland is, for most people, it's a trip of a lifetime because they've dreamed about seeing the Northern Lights and they've dreamed about sleeping in an igloo and all that stuff. So yes, it can be cheaper, but if it's not exactly what they want, I don't think they would go anyway.
Very, very clear. Thank you. No, that's just what we need to clarify. Thank you very much. And Audrey, can we ask you the same question? Where do you feel the potential is outside of the winter season?
I totally agree with Swazik. I think the clients keep in mind that they go to the Swedish Lapland in the winter time because they are looking for snow and snow activities. I remember talking with someone who doesn't know the destination, and he was sure that in the Lapland we had snow in all year round. So you can imagine that the clients are like the same. So they don't imagine the destination without snow. So it's quite difficult to bring them here on the off season. In my opinion, I think the fall season could be interesting, but we have to work a lot on the marketing and yes, show them pictures without the snow, show them the Northern Lights as well, and yes, have new activities which are different from the winter time. Maybe like cozy things with the fireplace and walk in the forest or something like this. But yes, it's quite hard to sell this destination on the off season, except for Norway, for the Lofoten, for example, but not for the Swedish Lapland at this time, I think.
I think it's really interesting because I think this is one of the key focuses of AETC, our hosts here today, is that they obviously want to find ways of promoting the destinations outside of the winter, because obviously winter is doing extremely well in all three areas. So this feedback is very important, and I'm sure there's going to be campaigns and discussions and marketing around how to find markets like the French to come during different times of the year. Julia, just want to do a last question on this. Do you find that maybe the price also, like Swazik mentioned, is not really an issue for your clients to
Yes.
them outside?
Yes, I think so. It could help, of course, but we can see that if the clients really wants to go somewhere, he's ready to pay the price for it. And maybe if the price is too low, he's starting to think about is it the right moment to go there, because I'm not sure going at this moment. But yes, I think they are ready to pay the high price to go to their dream destination.
That's very clear. So it's kind of, for the French market, that this part of the world is really niche and once in a lifetime.
Yes.
So they don't expect it to be a kind of a good deal to go up there during different periods. So that's also very clear as well. Thank Audrey for clarifying that.
Okay.
Next question is a little bit more practical, and it's regarding response times. We had a webinar the other day on the UK market, and one of the most important things for them is to get these kind of quick responses to their requests. And I wonder if it's, first of all, I wanted to ask, how much in advance do you need the prices from this region? For example, for winter 25-26 and summer 26. Maybe I can start with you, Swazik, because you're very experienced in this. How much in advance do you start promoting your tours to the French market?
We try to do it a year before. So we're working at the moment on the dates for summer 26. Winter, it's getting even more in advance than that. Sometimes we already have people asking us for Christmas 2026. So winter is getting a lot in advance, but for specific dates like Christmas and New Year's. Otherwise, it's just, yes, 1 year in advance.
Okay, very clear. Thank you very much. Jan, are you finding that the same on your side?
Yes, pretty much the same as we also do the brochure a year before. So yeah, would be definitely the date to have the prices.
And do you feel, Jan, that you're getting kind of good quick response time to your request, or is it ever an issue on your side?
It depends. Sometimes it's a little bit later, but we have deadlines, so we have to get the prices anyway. And sometimes, if for the brochure we could do some estimate if we don't have the prices, but it's really important to have the prices really early, and most of the market are doing it.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Audrey, Julia, can I come back to you guys? How do you feel about the prices and how much in advance you need it for your products?
Yes, it's around 1 year before. But yes, in the winter time we try to have it earlier more. We are starting to work on the 27 prices now. So yes, in the winter time, I would say as soon as possible we need to get the prices, and for the regular tours, 1 year before departure.
Very clear. Thank you very much. I think it's very interesting to, but you don't, Audrey, have any sort of delays or any problems with quick responses to your request when you have later ones?
Sometimes it can happen, but I think like everyone. But with the experience, we can easily get like approximative prices, and we still can work like this. And it helps a lot to get the prices before. And yes, but mainly we get the right responses when we want.
Excellent. Well, I think our audience would be very pleased to hear that. So the French market are getting some nice punctual responses. So that's really nice to hear. Just one general question before we get to the questions that we're getting from our audience, and just to say to the audience, please put your Q&As in now. We'll have a few minutes still to get through them. But regarding generally from your customers, maybe Jan, I can start with you. Do you feel that there is a growing interest in kind of nature and kind of dream holidays away from the busy destinations that we see in Southern Europe? Is there this sustainable feature of your customers that they want to get away from it all and start to have a kind of sustainable experience rather than the traditional sitting on the beach?
Yes, we see those kind of shift in clients. For example, we develop lots of products with railways and cruises around Norway, for example, and those products worked really well. So I really think that there is a shift for clients that they don't want to go in the Southern Europe and spend like 7 days on a beach, and and with crowded people. They want to experience nature and travel with sustainable transport mean.
I think this is really interesting. I think France is maybe one of the European markets that's kind of most advanced. And Carola, I was going to ask you on this one because you're the kind of expert generally on the French market. Do you feel that maybe the French traveler and I think you're quite far ahead on your sustainability journey in France in terms of really wanting to look for holidays where you can have very low carbon offset and really make a difference with your holiday rather than traveling on a flight and indulging in other kind of experiences which are very different. And that makes obviously our Arctic region very attractive. So do you think this is a trend that we will see growing on the French market?
Yes, definitely, I think. And I just met one agent who came by train from a workshop in the north of Norway. She came all the way from north of Norway by train. She's working on slow voyage, slow trips. And these kind of agencies are now coming up and growing because there is a demand for these kind of trips also. So I think that, yes, all what is public transport where you can combine trains, buses, and also like minibuses if you cannot, but not people don't like to hire cars as much as before. So I mean, or auto tours like this is, I think, a little bit less demanded. Another thing is that they are also afraid to drive in the north. Maybe it's a question is far between the cities, or in the winter it's cold, or the climate is not appropriate. So
sure, no, but that's really interesting to hear, and this growing demand for this kind of holidays will really, I think, resonate with our audience today. And Swazik, are you feeling the same movement in terms of people really wanting to do something different, to really go for the kind of slower tourism, to really appreciate the trains and electric vehicles and everything else that's associated with more sustainable traveling?
Yes, well, we only do nature and adventure tourism, so we didn't really see a switch, but the train product that we put like 2 years ago have a really high request. We can really see that people want to use the train. We have some people that also, some clients each year that they don't want to take the plane to go on vacation, so they just go to Norway by train. It takes them 2 days to go, 2 days to come back, but they really want to do it. We have a lot more each year. We have more clients like that. And yes, we have also sometimes some requests for electric snowmobile, electric boats, electric cars, not that much, but yes, there is definitely awareness growing. That's something that is in the heart of all of our products. We really want to have a positive impact as much as possible. And that also translates in more interest in meeting the people, more authentic experiences. More people want to sleep in guest houses, have maybe encounters with local people, and that's something that is also connected to a slower approach to tourism. We take the time to travel, we take the time to meet the people and not just see the sights.
That's why I'm sure you're getting lots more requests and demand for your product. That's the way that I think the French market are really, really interested in this type of tourism. Do you use the Arctic route, the coach service during the winter? And would it be interesting for you to have that product out of the winter season as well, where you can travel through the Arctic region during the whole year on a regular bus service?
We have a product, but it's in summertime with the buses.
Okay.
But we don't have something that is that goes to Norway and Sweden. We don't have like combined countries yet. That's not something we have a lot of requests for. What works at the moment would be going using the trains to go to from south of Finland to Lapland, the train to go to Stockholm to Kiruna. It's going south to north. That is really something that people like.
More general in the country, so going from the big cities up to the
yeah.
Okay, brilliant. And maybe finally for you, Audrey and Julia, what's your thoughts on this and the switch towards more sustainable trips?
We have an increase of requests for sustainable holidays for sure, but I think it's pretty hard to say in the winter time, as we have like 2 flights of one with around 100 people arriving for each flight, so it doesn't really help for the sustainable holidays. But I think the clients just want to participate to the local life. They want to have a local experience. So maybe through this way they have a sustainable products, and it's easier to do it in the summertime, in my opinion, because we have like smaller groups going there, and as we said, we have electric boats, we have activities, outdoor activities as well. And we also asked to our guides to talk about the ecology as well, with small reminders. Do not throw away things outside. Do not leave your prints behind you. So it's still important for us, and it seems that our clients are happy with it. And we have like a chart that they have in their travel documents with all the reminders, like a to-do list and do not do list as well. So it's starting to be something for our clients.
Super. Thanks for that. And one question we got from our audience is from our colleagues up in Sami, Destination Sami. Is the Sami experience something that's interesting for your clients in particular?
Yes, sure. They want to discover this culture, to talk with them as well. And they have the feeling they are sharing something very special with them. For example, in the Swedish Lapland, we work with Sami directly, and we have a person who talk about his real life. I mean, it's not like touristic things. He's talking about his real life, and the clients have get this feeling as well, and it makes the difference for them.
Sure, and I think that authenticity is really key, and I think the Sami experience, whichever destination you are in the Arctic, will always be a strong one for the French market.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thanks very much. Next question we've got is from Stefani. Would we say the French tourists are tick the box, done once in a lifetime type of guests, or more repeat customers? That's an interesting question. Can I maybe put that one out to you, Jan? What are your thoughts? Would you say French tourists are once in a lifetime up to that region, or more repeat customers, or a bit of both even?
Yeah, I would say both. I mean, for Lapland, that's would say once in a lifetime destination. They want to go there at least once in their life. But in some areas, I'm not sure for any countries, but for in the south of France or south of Europe, they go multiple times. So I would say both, but for Nordic countries and mostly for Lapland in winter, I would say once in a lifetime.
Super. Beautifully answered. Thank you very much. We've got 2 more questions. First one is an anonymous one, but how important is it for you to see the press, the media activation from different destinations in the Arctic. Can you correlate articles about destination companies with increased requests from clients? So how important is the involvement of the media? Carola, is this something you could maybe shine a light on? Is something that how important is the media in terms of getting the message across from the region to the French market?
It's very, very important. I mean, if there is a program in the television about one region, you can see it directly, all the requests that you get afterwards. And we are very, if you are selling these markets, you are very attentive what is going on in the press and in the TV. If there is if there is a program about the Finnish Lapland, you can see it in the requests you can get. So it is very, very important.
Thank you very much, Cora. Very clear. And just a final question for our French panelists. We've got a very interesting question from Martin in Tromsø. He would like to know if any of the, maybe Swazik is something that you may have experienced. Do you have any requests from people with disabilities in traveling? So those that maybe need the accessible tourism journey. And is it something you would maybe offer into our region? So any thoughts on that one?
We have a few, but I think our image is, I mean, people with disability wouldn't choose an adventure tourism agency, I think. I think we would not be the first choice, but we have a few, and we try to, we usually make them an FIT. We treat them as an FIT, not as group, because our group is walking, trekking, so it's difficult. Depending on the disability, we can make them join the groups. Maybe if it's something with someone that is deaf or someone that is blind, we can adjust. But if it's anything that has to do with mobility, we would maybe make them a tailor trip, so they can we can contact each hotel and see if it's accessible. But it's not something we are specialized in, and we don't have a lot of requests.
No, interesting. I think that Martin has a phenomenal organization in Tromsø where they specialize in winter activities for disabled customers. And I think it's something that maybe will get more and more known. I think it's an amazing product that he's offering. And I think it's a sort of slow burner. Carola, do you want to have the final word on that one?
Yes, I mean, maybe I'm personally very interested about this question, but I still have direct requests for these kind of things, and Martin can get in contact with me because I have a request for this one. And I think that, well, there are agencies that are very special, not very specialized, but very attentive to these kind of questions, and that do tailor-made trips for these kind of clients. And yes, if you have these kind of products, please communicate about it, because you will always find customers.
Thank you, Carola. We'll put you in touch for sure, and thank you very much for that. And Martin also wants to add that obviously it's not just the winter activities that I mentioned, but also all year-round products for disabled customers. So that's really interesting that this product is now available in the region. Okay, I think we're just going to be focusing a little bit towards Spain and Italy very shortly. So I just wanted to thank our French panelists for some fantastic information and great input to our audience. Thank you so much for joining us. And we hope to see you soon. We'll definitely make the recording available to everybody. Alexia, is anything you want to say to our lovely French specialist panelists before we go?
Here is the unmute. Absolutely. I think it has been very, very interesting, and you have given us a lot of insights. We can already see it from the questions that people have taken a lot of your feedback and would like to know more. So thank you for taking the time and for sharing your expertise with us. And I think we will be, well, in touch for more questions in the future.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all for, again, fantastic preparation and really, really good questions.
You're super welcome. And it's all because we had a fantastic French panelist. So thank you so much for joining. If the audience would like to just maybe grab a coffee before we're online with our Spanish guests and our Spanish experts shortly. So that will be at 10 o'clock Norwegian Spanish time and 11 o'clock Finnish time. So we've got 10 minutes before we start the Spanish one, and my colleague Andy will be taking the reins on that. But thanks again for our fantastic French panelists. We really appreciate it. And thanks for showing that the French market has so much potential to the region. And we'll see our French colleagues soon. And see you all at 10 o'clock, 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Carola.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
It's good to see both familiar and not so familiar faces today. As you know, the Spanish market, it's very close to my heart from my past, let's say. So I'm very, very curious now to get some more updates and see how things are going. And I think there is so much potential for the Spanish market in our destinations. So let's see if I'm right in that.
Okay, that's right. Well, let's crack on then. So welcome Johan. Good to see you again. And good morning to Javi and good morning to Jordi. So I think what we'll do, perhaps we'll start with an introduction as to who everybody is. That's probably the easiest way. So my name is Andy Fairbairn. I'm from the Nordic Tourism Collective, and we work very closely with Alexia in northern Norway and bringing this session to you. But the most important man, I guess, who has helped put this together is Johan Cavallini, who is based in Barcelona. And perhaps, Johan, you could introduce yourself and perhaps in turn then introduce the other two chairs on the panel, Jordi and Javi. So perhaps over to you, Johan.
Thank you very much, Andy. Do you hear me well, everybody? Perfect. Well, I am Johan Cavallini. I'm a former director of Visit Sweden in Italy and Spain. And now I work with Nordic Tourism Collective as a source market partner, and which is great because in that way I am connected with the markets in the same countries. And with me, I have Javi and Jordi. They are representing both important tour operators and with different segments, and I think that was interesting for the discussions that we will be having after the small introduction slides that I will talk about. Is that okay, Andy? Or Javi, do you want to continue?
No, so but maybe perhaps Javi, you want to introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are and what company you represent, and then after that, perhaps Jordi, you could do the same. That would be great.
That's fantastic. This is Javi Galvez. I represent and the CEO of Arctic Yeti. Arctic Yeti is a family company focused in adventure travel in the Nordic countries. We are focusing niche segments like Spanish speaking, but also Italian and German speaking. And our main core is very small groups doing adventure travel, but with boutique accommodation. We have been in the market for the last almost 20 years.
Perfect, thank you. And Jordi?
Hi everybody. Well, Icarium is the long-haul travel tour operator brand of the group World to Meet. World to Meet is the travel division of our mother company, Iberostar Hotel Group, that I guess most people knows already because we have more than 100 hotels all over. We started 5 years ago, and we are moving around 35,000 passengers per year already here in Icarium to more than 120 destinations. But we are quite specialized, and that's the reason Johan told me to be here, I guess. We are quite specialized in Arctic, basically in Lapland in Finland, with about 5,000 passengers per year, basically in December, using special charter direct flights to Rovaniemi, Kittilä, Ivalo, and those places. And in the last couple of years, we are trying to improve a little bit more, going farther to the north, going to North Norway also, and other sort of destinations a little bit unknown already. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Jordi. So let's crack on. Yeah, just going to share my screen, Johan, and then perhaps you could just walk us through a very brief introduction to the Spanish market.
Absolutely. So, as I said, I used to represent Visit Sweden in Italy and Spain. So, my focus also on this in this presentation is a bit more Swedish issues. But anyhow, I will be general because, of course, you can't speak about only Swedish Lapland when you speak about the Arctic region or Lapland. So, and the main attractions of the Arctic regions are quite similar for the two markets. We have the summer activities or the summer is attracting some people because of the cooler temperatures, but the market, except for Norwegian and for Norway actually, that are more known for their summer period due to the cruise business, it's quite limited. So the winter, we have the Northern Lights, of course, that is still attracting a lot. Snow and winter activities are the most demanded things, and people want to do more and more activities. Quite tight schedules when they come up. The alternatives are increasing. I understood from Jordi that they are looking for other areas. I'm a bit more unknown, which is a trend because some areas are getting quite congested. 90% of the Spanish people visiting Finland are going to Lapland in winter. So it's a very strong weight on the winter side. Sweden is rising as an alternative because of very good flight connections to Finland and less, unfortunately, to Sweden. As I say, we can go further, Andy. So Christmas is growing. Lapland is growing generally. Northern Lights still a strong reason. The spending is good, is quite high for the area. We have several new low-cost routes flying directly up. Everybody are going more or less to the same places, which is a plus in many ways, but it can also be quite challenging for people that work there or that have. I think the tour operating can become more complicated. We have new legacy carrier routes, interesting ones. There is a higher interest for sustainable products, and also tour operators are profiling themselves with that. Higher interest for authenticity that we mentioned before, and the ecological part is important. We can go further, Andy, please. So. Potential to extend the seasons. Yes. Well, the most important thing, and which the three Laplands that we are speaking about here, they are some of them are better than the others, but I think the key is innovation of and supply, and really understand what the people are looking for in order to innovate the products. And find an alternative and nice things to do also during the summer. The Northern Lights could be sold, for example, in September and November, September to November, where it's easy to see. That could be one way. We have the Bothnia coastal routes. We have interesting projects that are also highlighting areas which could be a thing to promote also for the tour operating. And the general idea is that poolcation will increase, but when will the market actually start? Maybe Jordi and Javi can answer a little bit more on that.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I was going to say, should we? Yeah, you got another slide. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So no, nothing. Spain is very important for Finnish Lapland wintertime. Is the third one in worldwide actually during December. But in general, it's the numbers from southern Europe are increasing in all the Laplands. Yeah, I can sum it up like that.
Excellent. So, do you want to talk about? We've got the same participants watching. Do you want to just say a word about Italy because the markets are similar-ish? I don't know whether we could pick this up when the Italian panelists join us, but maybe you could just run through a couple of. Is there anything there you want to pick out particularly, Johan?
I think we should wait with this, Andy. Actually,
okay,
you can
fine.
go back
with
the yeah. You can leave it on the one before.
Okay, fine. All right. Well, we'll stop and share, and we'll go into it. So that's very interesting. Thank you, Johan. I mean, I think the message which comes across very loud and clear is that it's a popular destination for the Spanish market, but it's very seasonal, and it's very much a winter destination. So let's ask a couple of questions, and let's throw a few questions to our panelists. So perhaps Javier, I could start with you. I mean, how's the Arctic going at the moment? I mean, how's sales? I mean, what's popular? And I guess the other thing would be interesting to know is sort of how far ahead does the Spanish market think in terms of where they're making their bookings if they're considering traveling to the Arctic on a vacation? What's the situation in your organization?
Right. This of course have been changing in the last few years, but as an average, I think I can very solidly say that the Spanish travelers are very late bookers in general. So the window for booking is quite short if we are considering just the peak season, and we have to make sure that our sales are conducted. Of course, most of them on that period, but we should also think about shoulder seasons or low season where we can make an impact, right? But it is true that mostly in the last 3-4 years, the Arctic is attracting more and more Spaniards, and that's probably because of the difference that we are used to in this warm country, going to colder and exotic in a way countries like we are talking about in Lapland. And it's maybe this sense of untouched wilderness that we are having in these areas that we don't see in these places. But it's also, I think, all this climate change, we see the Arctic very sensitive in climate changing, and we can see this sustainable and conscious travel that is growing in the Spanish market, and probably the Arctic region is a signature for that.
So can I ask you? I go back to you on that. Can I ask you a question? So I don't quite follow what you mean by that. So do they see the Arctic as a unique exotic destination, and as a destination which is perhaps probably more affected by climate change than other destinations? So are they going there because they want to experience something that they don't get in Spain very clearly? Or is it they're going there? What's the motivation for that? I don't quite follow that.
I can say that there are two clue factors on that. One is that, of course, climate change it's an emergency that we can see here, but it's hugely everywhere in social media and so. And when we hear climate change, the Arctic is the first that comes to our heads. So unconsciously, that's a marketing for the Arctic in Spain, at least. That's one thing. And the second thing is because we are starting to be a little bit more conscious about sustainability in Spain, that as a general rule, we were not before, and we are starting to be. So we see the Arctic as the first region that we need to visit before the biggest climate change come.
Right. Okay, gotcha. So I'm going to stick with you, Yavi. I'm sorry, I'll come back to you in a second, Yoni. So is it a trip of a lifetime for Spaniards?
Is it a what?
A
Yes.
trip of a lifetime.
It
would
is.
be. It would be considered that.
It is. You know that also Spaniards are quite price sensitive, and sometimes when we talk about trip of a lifetime, we are talking about longer trips, like trips that we are saving money for a long time and then we finally do it, right?
Sure.
But I think that in these regions is actually shorter trips, what our country choose mostly. So I will say 4 or 5 days is the main for us, at least, is the main request that we have going to the Arctic. But it is even 4 or 5 days they are looking for things that they will only see once in their lives, whether that's the Northern Lights or whether that's the icy cold temperatures and so on. But it is considered as a trip of a lifetime, even if they go and just visit, Santa Claus. It's a trip of a lifetime for them.
Fine, excellent. Okay, thank you, Yodi. Sorry, Yodi. I tried to keep you waiting. I was pursuing specific angles of questioning there. So for you, Yodi, you obviously have many destinations. Have you seen an increase in interest in the Arctic region generally among the Spanish market? And again, I guess you have the same patterns, or you see the same patterns in terms of the booking patterns for the Spanish wishing to travel. I guess it's short booking periods, etc. I mean, what's your feedback from your organization?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'd like to point that the segment, the niche of clients we are focusing is quite different from those from Javi, okay, from Arctic Yeti. So we are more focused in, let's say, conventional and families sort of clients, not so adventure sort of trip, even though I must agree with Javi a lot in what he was talking about sustainability and about climate change, that people is more and more aware of that in our market, especially concerning to the Arctic. And one of the things that has helped a lot to that, unfortunately, it's the lack of snow in the beginning of December of last year and 2018. Okay, because we've been suffering a lot with that, because unfortunately our market is too much focused in December, not only in winter, as you were talking before. I wish it could be whole winter from December to April, but it's not like that. It's basically December, where we have big bank holidays in beginning of December, the 6th and the 8th of December. And then we join this with Christmas, New Year, and our Epiphany. So if we talk that we have about 4,000 clients in December, 2,000 are traveling the first 6-7 days of December.
Wow.
Then the lack of snow we had last year, and if we remind a little bit also in 2018, it's one of the things that people is reminding this year. They remind it perfectly. They associate this with climate change, so people is more conscious about that. There is an awareness in the market. Answering to your question, well, I cannot agree with Javi about that Spain is anymore a last-minute market. So we are starting to sell our December charters in January in our big feature fair in 20th of January, more or less, so 11 months in advance. And we must start contracting and buying 14th months in advance. Otherwise, we are late in the market. Other markets as UK or German or the Netherlands are buying much more in advance than us. So our competitors are not anymore, and it's been like this for the last years, are not anymore Javi or other tour operators in Spain, but other tour operators abroad. So if we need those beds in the Arctic, we need to buy them long in advance, and that's why we have several years ago, we have started to convince the clients that they must, if they want the better or the best packages, they must, or let's say the best quality, price for quality packages, they must buy this long in advance. Just to give you an example, nowadays we are at about 70% of our December charters sold out. So
wow, okay.
in our case, it's not a last minute market. Mm-hmm.
And further to that question, then Jordi, is it easy for you to obtain the prices in advance from the suppliers in the Arctic, or is that easy? Do they have the prices ready for you? Or would you like them a bit quicker?
No, it's not. In those regions, basically the partners, the providers, they know already they have to send the prices and the packages long in advance. They know how is this working, and it's not a problem. I mean, on the other side, we are not getting better prices for buying so long in advance. Maybe we are getting more bets. That it's also a challenge, but not better prices. That's and I agree totally with Javi that Spain is a very sensitive price market, and prices in the Arctic. Well, this maybe deserves another webinar, but prices in the Arctic are growing too fast and too much compared to other destinations, and that's an issue for us. That's a problem for us.
Okay, maybe we might take that separately, Jordi, because that's a big subject as well. But it's interesting. It's good that you're at least getting the supply and you're getting the sort of the confirmation that you could actually contracts and you can do everything in advance. What about flights? I mean, in terms of flights from Spain, is that obviously there's lots of the charters over the winter. I guess, is there a feeling, Javi, I'm looking at you, do you need more? Is the flight access adequate? Is it too Madrid centric, etc.? What's your general feeling on the sort of flight situations from Spain?
Well, yeah, that's an issue that it's of course improving little by little, but we are still struggling with, in this case, with direct flights to some clue destinations in the Arctic. We mostly use hubs farther south, like Helsinki, also Stockholm, and so on, or even Copenhagen, and then we have direct flights, of course, in the peak season during winter, or larger operators like Jordi. They of course can. They have charters that they use, and of course I know that that's sometimes difficult and challenging to operate those. In our case, because we work with very small groups in a very different frame. We will of course appreciate to have more direct flights to this destination, which is not the case at the moment.
But generally, I mean, just interestingly, on the French market, half an hour ago, because Paris is essentially in more central in terms of Europe, the use of direct flights everywhere. So the fact that the more reluctant to do changes in Copenhagen or Helsinki, whatever, they're looking very much for the direct flights. But the Spanish market is prepared to fly via Stockholm or via Helsinki. There's part of getting to the Arctic, I suppose, is what you're saying.
I guess that's because we're used to it. That's the only reason. And there has never been other option apart from, of course, in the peak season there are some direct flights that we are of course using, but also even in Spain, I mean, the main hubs that we are using, I mean, the main departure points are the same, are Madrid, Barcelona, or sometimes Malaga, or even Valencia. But yeah, it's a limited frequency that we are having, and it is okay with, at least with our customers, because they are educated to know that traveling to the Arctic it's like this, basically.
Okay, fabulous. And so let's talk a little bit about seasonality, because obviously you're very concentrated in terms of your business, which you just described very very clearly. But in more general terms, obviously the situation in the Arctic region is that they would like to extend the season, and they would like to have more people in the summer or in the what we would call the shoulder seasons. How realistic is that, Jordi? Is that something that you perhaps could see the Spanish market buying into in the future? And if that is a possibility, what do you think the suppliers should be looking to do in order to extend the season? Perhaps not across the whole summer, but at least extending it into the spring and into the autumn. Is there anything that you'd like them to perhaps think about?
Well, actually, we've been trying to push travel outside the main season for years. It's something I've been doing here and in my previous company already. But the reality is that Lapland is about 5 hours from Spain, flying in a direct flight. So if you fly through Helsinki or Stockholm, it's 7, 8, almost 1 day. So it's much longer than many other markets, as UK or Germany or the Netherlands. They have 2 hours and a half, 3 hours maximum. So here, the main issue is not about what the suppliers can do there, because at the end of the day, if a supplier can give us the hotel for free, let's say, almost, or reduce the price a lot, or give the activities at a really low price, the price of the flights is an stopper. And though in winter, the Arctic region don't have, or we could say they don't have any competitor. In summertime, it's completely different. Germany, Switzerland, Austria, all those countries are competitors of the Arctic areas in summer. So obviously, you don't have reindeers there, you don't have Santa Claus, but you can do a lot of activities if you focus on trekkings, on the lakes, etc. And flying there is much cheaper, shorter, and easier. So it's not only about winter that we need more flights, more direct flights, and we have this problem, this issue here. It's also about summer. So
interesting. That's an interesting observation about the flights, which is something that I was aware of, but I didn't realize it's quite an interesting part of the equation. I guess that's the same for you. It's in terms of, but I mean, you're more activity focused. Is there perhaps more of an interest, perhaps, in going to the Arctic region in the summer or the shoulder, because it's the ideal time of the year in which you can do activities without getting too hot or too cold? I mean, is that something you're mute, Javi, before you start speaking?
Yeah, it's I mean, the winter, of course, is the peak season for everyone, and that's something that it's not something that we as a company have been developing, but the whole marketing of the Arctic is actually pushing travelers in winter more than in summer. We actually do have quite a few trips in shoulder season, but also even in summer that are developing really, really, really well. One of the reasons is maybe because we have less competitors in those periods, but they do work quite well. I would like to point also
can you give us an example? Could you give us an example of that? I mean, just in very general terms, what does work well in the summer?
Well, actually, canoeing in rivers, they do work quite well. It's an activity that Spaniards are used to in Spain, and they are interested in doing it in Arctic regions that they didn't know that they could do. But also hiking is quite popular. The whole Lapland has a very good structure in hut-to-hut trails, where you can go hiking from one place to another. In winter, you can do it, of course, and we also do it in snowshoes or skis. But in summer, for hiking, it's fantastic, and it's definitely not as crowded as winter, I would say. For us, it works quite well.
Fantastic, thank you. Yeah, and I'm just going to go back to you actually, because you visit Sweden. So even in your days when you visit Sweden, developing and looking at seasonality must have been a big question mark for you guys. what was your thinking at the time, and perhaps with your contacts now, in terms of what's the feeling in terms of the need or the requirement, or what needs to be done to extend the seasonality, perhaps to get more people to the south of Sweden in the winter and get more people to the north of Sweden in the summer? But I guess that was a conversation that went round and round and round during your time. Have you got any observations you'd like to add to this?
Well, the problem with the massification and the problem with the great increase in tourism has, I think, it has become a problem more in the latest years. Actually, I mean, when we were working, we were more into increasing the numbers. I mean, I'm speaking about before COVID, right? So we didn't have that effect from COVID itself with all the naturalistic things that people want to see, and so it was. There were different tones at that time, I must say. I mean, it was more about availability, accessibility, and no, it didn't. Maybe through events in the big cities, but that's what was about it. It's a quite recent problem.
Okay, no, that's fine. And we've got some questions in the chat, so we've just let's see if we've got any specific questions for Spain. That's Madrid, Tromsø. Yeah, that's fine. And I guess the market for the Spanish market is pretty much it's a mono destination in terms of, do you get people who want to do more than one region within the Arctic, or do they just go? So this is perhaps more into you, Jordi, perhaps rather than Avi. There are sort of communication routes across the Arctic region which one can utilize. Do your clients seek to do that sort of thing? Second part of the question is, are they willing to embrace public transport, and is that something which is regarded within the Spanish market as a viable option?
Yeah, that's a good point, Andy. And actually, I was going to add something to what has been already said about trips in summer, or let's say fall or autumn. And one of the main topics that obviously it's something you cannot market directly, but it's something really important here, is safety. Okay, so people go into those places is basically thinking that okay, we can go by our own to walk wherever. We can take a fly and drive route and take a rental car, and we can leave this almost open wherever we want without not any risk. And it's obviously for all the suppliers listening right now to me, they might think, okay, this is a stupid question, but it's not that much here in Spain. So yes, the advantage of taking regular transportation, a bus or a train by your own, going alone, and if you speak some English and so, it's a real advantage. And this is mainly the sort of clients we have. We don't have that sort of clients as Javi doing canoeing in summer or asking for those sort of activities, but we do have those clients that want to rent a car by their own, go to a cottage in the Lakeland area, take a train to go to the Baltic coastline. So more in the south than in the north, because going to the north means to add a flight, and it's much more expensive. But since we have a lot of airlines flying to Stockholm or to Oslo or to Helsinki, then this sort of trips in southern part of the region, it's easy, and it's something quite demanding.
Okay. And Avi, I guess your market is very much sort of mono destination because of the nature of what you do. So Platson area, do some activities. But it's a question we covered on the French. So if you're hiking, perhaps, or you're walking, is that self-guided, or is that do you have guides who? How does that work? I mean, without sort of going into your products in any huge detail, but the Spanish in general, are they prepared to go it alone, or do they want their hand held pretty much on a day-by-day basis?
Yeah, that's also shifting a little bit. It used to be only guided strictly and 100%. But nowadays we are doing some self-guided tours with a lot of indications and a lot of details in the documentation, and it does work, and they are coming along little by little. But again, at least 90% it's guided, and you are right that we concentrate in one area normally, and we don't visit many different places, just that area.
Okay, fabulous. All right. I don't know if there's any more questions. We need to move on to Italy fairly soon, which is a bit of a whirlwind tour around Europe this morning, but it's fantastic. And we've already got David and Patricia with us, who was seen from Italy, which is fantastic. So we've sort of concluded our session on Spain, and I'd just like to thank Javi and Jordi very much for your contributions. It's been very useful. Johan, you're going to stay with us, and we're going to talk a little bit about Italy now. Javi and Jordi, you're welcome to stay if you want to. It's entirely up to you. But if you want to leave and go back to work, and that's fine. But thank you for your time. Thank you for your contributions. It's been very interesting, but I'm sure our participants enjoyed your comments very much. So again, on behalf of everybody, thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for facilitating this. It was great.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Marco, so Johan, let's do it again. So we're now in Italy. We've had a very interesting session this morning talking about the French market. We had a quick fly through the Spanish market to the Arctic. So David and Marco, welcome. Good morning. We're talking pretty much about the Arctic region. So perhaps we'll do it again, Johan. So perhaps you would like to introduce our two guests. In fact, no, let's skip you, Johan. Let's go straight to David. So David, please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us what your company does, and give us a very brief introduction to your business.
Yeah, okay. So I think some of you know me. Sure. You expected to see Christina, so you expected a nice lady, and then you have a bird man. So okay, don't be shocked, please. So I'm operation manager for group tours here in Giver. It's I think I don't know, but I'm here since a lot of time. But as probably you know, we are an Italian tour operator that have both group tours and FITs customers. What to say about us? I think we are cooperating with a lot of you here that are watching this webinar, and thank you for the good cooperation we always have. But anyway, as I told, we have both group tours in summer. A lot of years ago, summer was our core business, but now we have no difference from summer and winter, because we had a lot of group tours and FITs, obviously, in winter too, especially in the Arctic. In fact, we have a lot of passengers for I don't know, especially for Northern Lights in winter time, and for obviously Santa Claus. So with Rovaniemi, as you probably know, we have our charters, so our direct flights from Italy. We had our charters from Milan to Tromsø since 2017 or 2016. I don't remember, but it's a lot of time, both in winter and summer. We had the charter chain in summer too for 4 years, and then so you know us.
Okay,
that's
great.
May I just sneak in a second, Andy, before going into Marco? The thought.
Please do.
The thought of I've done more or less the same thing as with the Spanish. We have Davide that represents Given, that is more the big player on the market, and then we have Marco from Terre Polari, which is more Articchietti type with the smaller groups and maybe more. But I will also. I'm looking forward to hear what Marco has to say from Terre Polari.
Thank you, David. So Marco, maybe just if you could hear us, if you could just maybe just give us a very brief introduction to your company, that'd be great.
Of course, I represent Terre Polari. We are a tour operator based both in Italy and in Spain. If you like you say that we are specialized in Nordic regions, only the Nordic region. So the small groups, we have small groups of maximum 8. So not big groups. We are like specialized in active tours. Our main focus active tours. So we have different activities like hiking, trekking, biking, kayaking. This is like the main focus of our tours. We are
fantastic.
Specialized like especially in Iceland, in Norway. South and the north of the country, Rivland also like that. But we have, and we work all year long. So we have weekly departures in summer, of course, but also in winter, in autumn, in spring, all year long. So this is our main focus. So small groups, active tours, many different activities. So like also multi-adventure activities. Tours, and these are main focus specialized also in the northern countries. This is so especially Norway and Iceland.
Okay, thank you, Marco. That's brilliant. So we've got a very similar sort of setup to what we had in Spain. So that's great. So Johan, I'll just give you the mic for 2 minutes. Do you want to go through? Should we just go to that one single slide that we have for Italy, and yeah,
I think so.
You could perhaps you could explain what that is, and then we could just then we go back to the panelists.
Well,
so there you go.
Yeah, perfect. No, as it is for Spain, for the Spanish market, we also have an increase from the Italian market. So due to a lot of circumstances that we don't have to go into now, but it's a fact. And the Italians actually, regarding Swedish Lapland, has become the 5th most important market this year or last year. So a huge increase and positive effects on that one. So what happened now, and why are we looking at this slide? This slide is a kind of extract from interviews that we conducted to a number of tour operators, 15 in total on the Italian market, to catch up some insights because of the project that we are looking into, creating a direct flight from Italy to somewhere in the north. In this case, it was Luleå in the Swedish Lapland. So we did some interviews to try to find a base and try to see the feasibility of a route like that. And these are the takeaways. And I thought these were interesting too, because it's a kind of a feeling of what's happening on the market. So, well, accessibility and more flights are needed was one. The period begins with December 6th to 8 is an important date also also in Italy, but let's say that Christmas, New Year, and until late March is it's all an important period with a small decrease in February. A large majority goes out from Milan, from the Milan area. Tour operators they would like to sell more Sweden. The groups are generally not so big among Italian tour operators, which can be an interesting input for many of you. There is a problem with the massifications. They usually stay in hotels with a high standard. That the accommodation level is quite important. Early bookers, the winter package is booked earlier and earlier, which is a trend that is quite uncommon for the Italian market. And the average is, like we said before, like for the Spanish, is 4 or 5 nights and filled with activities. So many activities, no matter what the age. This is a little bit the outcome of this. Yeah. So with that, I would say my 2 minutes passed, and we can start off by asking people, the professionals.
Yeah, that's that. Thank you, Johan. That's very interesting. So I think it's clear that the theme that was just coming around time and time again is really two things. One is the booking period. So you said that the Arctic particularly books in advance. Is that because the Italian market regard a trip to the Arctic as more of a once-in-a-lifetime trip, or is it something that they would perhaps go back to again and again? So perhaps I'll start with Patricia, but I'm going to change your name to Marco. So maybe Marco, if you want to answer that question. Well, how do the Italian market regard the Arctic? Is it one they'll only go once, or is it something that they'd consider to visit more than once?
Yeah, we have several clients that like to repeat it when they want to go to Norway, Sweden, or Iceland. They fascinated by this kind. So they want to back. Maybe if they once go in the summer period, most of the travelers, they want to come back in the different period of the year. For example, in the winter to see the Northern Lights. We have many travelers that in the summer they go to Iceland. Then in the winter they want to go to Scandinavian countries. Yeah. Perhaps happen very, very, very often. Yeah.
Interestingly, I'll stay with you, Marco, because that's just occurred to me. Do you think that if you travel to, say, somewhere in the Arctic region in the winter, you would then be more predisposed to then revisit it at another time of the year? Is that something? Because something that hadn't occurred to me before. But if you're looking to try and attract visitors in the summer, maybe a good place to start is people who have already visited in the winter.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
I don't know if I just throwing that out there. I don't know. David, what do you think? What's your view on the Spanish trend to the Arctic? Is it regarded very much as a sort of do it once, or is it somewhere that they would consider going back to perhaps different destinations? What's your feeling? What's your feeling from the market?
I completely agree with Marco. For our experience, we have a lot of repeaters. I mean that a lot of customers of ours travel, for example, in summer, and then they want to try other destination, other different places of the destination in other periods of the year. We have about the 50% of repeaters, so it's always someone that want to travel in different season in different places of the same nation. For example, in I don't know, in Finland or in Sweden or in Norway, they want to know better the destination. So we had a lot of repeaters. So I think that that customers could visit the same place. We have some customers that are visiting. For example, I don't know. We had our charter to Tromsø, and we had customers that every single winter went to Tromsø for years. So because it's something I don't know. It's usually you can hear about this with speaking about Africa, for example, but it's the same. I think for North, it's a kind of addiction. I don't know. For me, was the same. Since the first time I visited North, then I became addicted to North, so I have to go. Luckily, I have to go for business and for travel.
But both of you, you, David, and you, Marco, you have customers who are prepared to and want to travel to the Arctic region in outside of the winter season. What do you feel? And I'll start with you, Mark, I suppose. What do you feel the suppliers in the region could do more of, or less of, or adapt in order to encourage more Italian visitors to try Arctic destinations in the summer season, or even the shoulder spring seasons? You may get some business at the moment who are traveling in the spring. How can they get more business in the spring? How can they try and avoid the congestion that we see in Tromsø, for example, and actually sort of try and encourage people to go at other times of the year? Is there anything that particular that stands out that they can do? And does it come down to flights at the end of the day? Is that an issue?
Yeah, for example, in the summertime, it would be nice to offer them some typical activities like kayaking, canoeing, some adventure activities. Or the sun, or the phenomenon of the midnight sun, for example, like that. And the other reason for the other like that, for example, with Italy, we had some there are not so many direct flights. For example, this is another problem from even from the main cities, but especially to the Lapland. There are not some. Maybe sometimes we have to do like double scale. This some distance or like this, for example. Also in the autumn period, obviously, be nice to offer some excursions, some hiking nature, or the first northern lights, like that.
Okay, so it would be the types of activities on offer, which are more adapted to the summer seasons, which will be attractive to the Italian market. And what about you, David? I mean, you have a mix of different types of products. You say you have charters. I assume they only go in the winter. So what would it take for you to put your first charter on in June? What would you need? What would they need to? And what would need to happen in order to even consider doing something like that? I think it might be frozen, actually. He's frozen. David, you're frozen. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, we'll go back to. We'll stick with you, Marco, because you're not
because
frozen.
we had
he's back. He's back.
So sorry.
That's okay. So you've frozen momentarily, David.
I have some troubles with my connection. I don't know why, but I'm sometimes always freezing here. But anyway, our charters are mostly in winter, as I told. And in the winter period, we experimented the summer charters, but it was quite difficult to fill the planes. But in winter, it's not a problem. We start from December with Rovaniemi, with Tromsø, and we have this year we will have something different because we are leaving in a kind of way our operation in Tromsø because it's too crowded, because we don't I don't know, we don't want to give mass tourism, but a kind of good good tourism with the good services, and Tromsø is not the right place now for this. So obviously we will stay in Tromsø with regular flights from Milan, but we decided to move our charter operations from Tromsø to Ivalo, because it's easier. Not easier for us, but it's easier to sell because customers are not an idiot. Because if prices are rising in a crazy way, obviously customers are not so stupid to continue to go the same place and spend a lot of money. Because in Italy, I think tourism is quite money sensitive, so you have to offer or you have a wonderful product with a luxury and something like this with you can spend a lot of money, but you have a good service, and we want to offer this kind of services to our customers. Tromsø now is a mess. Prices.
I get that. So one way of avoiding the crowds in Tromsø in December is to offer them Tromsø in May, for example. I mean, I think what I'm trying to get at is there anything, because we have lots of sort of Arctic suppliers here watching and both live now and on recording, is there anything that if you think that they should be thinking about how they can promote their regions in seasons which are not so popular? Is it a question of coming with new products? Is it a question of demanding more flights? Is there anything? I guess there's no sort of easy fix, but what's your feeling?
Yeah, you can try to promote destination in other periods, okay, but if you don't have good service in the peak period, okay. It's difficult. I mean, we had a lot of complaints for I don't want to make names, but for some structures and the level of some services during winter. So how can I try to push other periods when services in the peak periods are so poor? Respect of the costs. So all costs are very low in the shadow period. So in the springtime and the autumn, or it's very difficult to push this kind of products with our customers. I mean, as I told, we have customers that are quite I don't know. They want something not luxury, but unique. It's something. It's a good product, not mass product.
Yeah. Is it? And I'll jump to Mark on this. Is one of the questions on one of the phrases or terms which came up time and time again, both on the French and the Spanish discussions, was that this notion of authenticity. And people want to go and actually feel as though they're receiving an authentic product and an authentic service rather than something else. I mean, I guess that's also a feeling that the Italian visitor would be looking for at the same time.
Yeah, because they're looking for some like a unique product. No, you can, for example, our clients, when you go to these destinations, they are very expensive, so they're looking for something special, something new. No? And this is very important. When you have to spend so much money, they want something you realize they dream and to have everything is going perfect. So yeah, it's very important for the
clients. Are your clients independent, or are they still relying upon a bit of hand holding, as we would say? So if they were going to do some hiking or some walking, for example, would they want a guide? Are they prepared to do self-guiding?
We are specialized. We don't have so much self-drive too. We have group tours. So with the guide is always them. Guide with hiking tours. Guide, and so.
But is that specific your company, or do you feel that's more specific for the Italian market in general?
No, this is our market, but there are many people from Italy. For example, many Italian customers, maybe they want to go on the self-drive tour on their own, but maybe they want a guide for some banking, something like that. But yeah, another solution.
But I mean, my knowledge, having sort of done various hikes across Europe, and I always bump into Italians with rucksacks, and they're crazy, and so I can imagine sort of activities are something that's very popular to the Italian market. We're running out of time, and I'd love to stay with you two guys for ages, because it's actually very interesting indeed. But I'm conscious of the time, and I don't want to keep you too long. Johan, do you want to add anything to this debate at this stage, or what's your, in terms of, if you had to summarize the Italian market to the Arctic, how would you do that? And putting you on the spot slightly, I apologize, but if there's something that you'd like, a thought or comment you'd like to leave with the participants?
No, I think the Italian market is well represented from David and Marco. We have these two big segments that are interesting for the area, for the Arctic area for sure, because you need volume, but you also need the smaller groups which may sometimes better work well or some better work with the actual accommodations that are present, the cottages and all this, or special smaller accommodations. So I think it's a very complementary market for the offer that the Arctic has. I think also it's a demanding market, so it's good to bear in mind a little bit what David has said. I mean, good service and right service during peak seasons also help to improve the shoulder or the lower seasons. I think it's a good
fantastic stuff. All right, that's great. David, do you want to add anything? We're gonna close down very soon. But if you want to add any final words you'd like to add to anyone who's listening, who's an Arctic supplier. Anything you'd like to add perhaps about the Italian market in general? Anything you should think about for your particular businesses? How they're is gone again. So I'll throw the same question over to you, Marco. Are there any special sort of idiosyncrasies that they should perhaps think about when dealing with the Italian market?
But anyway, sorry, I tried, but I saw
That's
you
okay. Don't worry.
like this, so freeze. And what are we? What was the question? Because I was
the question very simply. I mean, just in a couple of words. I mean, if you are one of the many Arctic suppliers who's watching this recording, are there any particular idiosyncrasies that they perhaps should consider when dealing with the Italian market? I mean, Johan said perhaps they want good service and all the rest of it. Anything else that they should think about? Or I mean, the Italian market, frankly, is growing very well, and it's growing tremendously to the region.
Yes. The Italian market is going very well. We are happy because we are now looking at our sales statistics. So we are up than almost 40% this year, and we are already selling very well winter too. We have about 30% our charter in December to Rovaniemi are already sold, and even if we are not still out with the catalog for winter, we have spoiled our customers with the Ivalo charter, and we are already selling it. So we are happy. Regarding suppliers, we have we have to I don't know. There are some differences because we have a good cooperation with everyone, obviously, but sometimes, especially in the Norwegian area of Arctic, it is difficult to have an answer in short times. and this is very I don't know, it's annoying because you have customers beside you that are asking for some services or something, and you can't be able to obtain an answer, or you have to wait a couple of weeks to have an answer. So it is especially true in the Norwegian area with someone, not with all suppliers. It's not the same. It's, for example, in the Finnish area or in the Swedish area, it's easier to have an answer. I think that some places are still not ready for good tourism because I don't know, there are some suppliers that told us it's not possible to organize something because it's Sunday. I don't work on Sunday. Okay, I do, because I'm here to make people travel and enjoy their travels, and it's not important if it is Monday or Sunday or Saturday. So someone told me, "Oh no, I don't work on Saturday. I don't work during weekends." I told someone I needed some time ago. I needed an excursion for our groups, staying in a place during weekend, and asked for a boat tour, and they told me, no, it's not possible. I told them, you make the price. Don't worry. Ask me what you want. I'll give you. No. The answer was no. So sometimes I think that could be more be elastic. I don't know.
All right.
I know
I appreciate that.
Weekend is something sacred for everyone. I mean, but when are you working in the tourism sector? It should be.
I guess, David, it depends. It depends on lots of factors, but that's very interesting feedback, and we did pick that feedback up from, particularly from the UK seminar. They said similar things about sort of flexibility and response times, which is important because you obviously want to make every sale you possibly can. So thanks for that. And any final comments, Marco, that you want to add? I mean, let's be positive, though. Let's be positive. Let's
out of this, I agree with David, because it's true. No, in Italy we have a different mentality. So you have every day you have to you do what you do. But I think, and of course, especially in Norway, it's so something very difficult to have the answers in short time, or the customers are different. Yeah, but we are very happy. There are some things that can be better.
There always is, Marco. There always is.
That's normal.
Exactly. That's fine. But no, I think it's interesting, and I think the Italian market, as indeed the Spanish market, is becoming a very, very important market for the region, and we've certainly seen sort of huge increases in business. So, and that's thanks to you guys and people like you who supported the region and continue to send business. So thank you very much. Johan, we're gonna close things off. Alexia, I don't know if you're still there. If you want to pop up and say hello. Yes, she is. Perhaps yes, she is. So we've finished. We've concluded this webinar. So it just remains, and Paul's back as well. Excellent stuff. So thank you to David, to Marco, especially to Johan and Alexia for your time in organising this. And it's been good fun. It's been very interesting, very enlightening. And I hope the participants and everyone watching has enjoyed the discussion this morning. So thank you very much. And we'll see you all again somewhere. Alexia, do you want to say some final words?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, so many good conversations. We could definitely stay here and talk about this forever. There's a lot of food for thought and a lot of important takeaways. Luckily, there are a lot of things that actually we could fix or improve. So I think that though we heard, some difficulties are existing and we are fully aware of them, the good thing is that we can take actions. And I think also with the project, a lot of the work that is being done on the marketing in the autumn without the snow, on the quicker responses, a lot of things that were brought up with the different markets. We are aware, and there are a lot of conversations on how we can improve the situation. So hopefully, also we don't have operators giving up on destinations or suppliers for that matter, but we keep a tight, collaborations and conversations so we can improve what we can. But apart from that, as I mentioned to Paul in the beginning, Andy, thank you very much for excellent moderation. Really good questions, not the easiest ones. And I think that the panelists did an excellent job in replying very deeply with many, many expert insights. I didn't have the opportunity to say welcome to Davide and to Marco before, but I just wanted to say that it's really, really nice to see you and to have you here. I know you know already a lot of the participants and are active in AETC. Having said that, thank you also, Johan, again. Nice to meet you. And thank you to our participants for being here, for their questions. And well, I hope to see as many of you as possible very soon.
That's great. Okay, thanks to everyone, and see you soon. Thanks again.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.